Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome in to a brand new episode of Snaps. It is Wednesday, which means it's time to do a little preview show, preview the weekend of action that's going to be. I am T-Bob Hebert. He is Aaron Murray. Aaron is on the road calling a game tonight. Aaron, what's up, dog? How you feeling today?
What's going on? If you need a little extra of me tonight, UTEP, Sam Houston, ESPN2. Sam Houston, the last remaining winless football team in FBS. See if they can get it done.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that
In
brings juice to our audience or not, but just in case. You need a little Tuesday night action, tune into ESPN2.
Yeah, we're still in the 40 days of football in a row. God, I'm look, I'm going to be honest up front, y'all. I'm all over the place today. I just spilled coffee all over my computer literally 10 seconds before the show started. I think that's okay. My mic is being all weird, moving all around, and I just got diagnosed with shingles. Like some sort of decrepit 80-year-old man. I've been wondering why I've been feeling so awful for a week. I talked about my Cincy nips and everything. No idea what was going on. I have fucking shingles, and I feel like shit. So I'm going to rely on my teammate, Aaron Murray, my boy, to carry me today, and to you, the wonderful Snaps listeners who we all love so much. Of course, today we are going to, like I said, preview the week. We'll talk Georgia, Florida, Oklahoma, Kansas, Oregon, Utah, Duke, and Colorado-UCLA. Do we have Duke in there? Is that right? Is Duke supposed to be in there?
Yeah, Duke's in there.
Who's Duke even playing?
Wow.
I know.
Louisville. I'll do a quick one on that one. I'll take that off your plate.
I'm telling you guys. I am in the 2 years of doing this show. Actually, fuck it. In like the 10 years of doing radio sports talk, this is without a doubt the shittiest I've ever felt. So, but whatever. I'm not here to no pity parties. Fuck it. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk football. We're going to be good to go. And I'm going to try to ignore the fact that every time I get excited, the fabric of my shirt rubs against my nipples and makes me want to cry. God, just awful. Boong says L shingles W T-Bob. That's very kind, Boong. Thank you. Also, Boong's a very funny name. That just I love that so much. Aaron, so you're doing UTEP tonight. Are you doing a game this weekend as well?
No, I'm off. So we get to do a little post-game snaps on Saturday, it looks like, if T-Bob's healthy enough to take on the challenge.
Yeah, well, this all coincides with my wife going to California for the entire weekend for work. So I'll have the kids. So just let me know so I can schedule a babysitter. How did you get shingles? Says Greg. The doctor told me lack of sleep and stress. What the fuck? Seems crazy. All right, let's get into the show, though. I'm sorry. I just want to do that up front because I'm feeling insecure because I don't have the amount of whatever. I'm just feeling insecure, and so I had to put it out there. But let's talk some football, man, because this is a college football show, and it's fun. And you know what else is fun? Florida, Georgia. Just a game as old as time.
Georgia, Florida.
What'd I say?
You said Florida, Georgia.
Oh, does it matter?
It does matter.
Oh, okay, my bad. I didn't know. I don't think you ever told me that before.
Never.
It's the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It's in Jacksonville. Aaron, you never got to spend time in Jacksonville, right? This is
I've been to a game as a fan.
Oh, okay. How is it? What is the scene going to be like in Jacksonville this weekend?
Oh, it's an incredible scene. It's not to the level of like Oklahoma, Texas with the state fair, but it is a beautiful sight. I will always remember, like, as a player driving over the bridge and seeing all the just tents everywhere, but all the red and blacks over here, the orange and blues on this side. It's a massive tailgate. It's a big party. It starts tomorrow. I mean, I have buddies of mine, texting me saying, "Hey, we're flying down or driving down the St. Simon Sea Island, party on the beach, yada yada yada. Wake up Saturday, go to Jacksonville, tailgate, go to the game, go back to St. Simon's, and then come back to Atlanta on Sunday." It is 4 days. They give off school. The kids finish up, I think, Thursday afternoon. Then they all jump on buses. The fraternities, they go to the beach for the day. So, it's a beautiful sight. Beautiful sight.
Oh, man. String Jean says 2 hours away, never been. String sounds like you should probably go get after it. Boong says Graham Mertz legacy game incoming. How funny would that be for you, Jay? Well, look, that's the thing here. This is a 14.5 point spread for a reason. Okay. I know Florida's record. Actually, Florida's record looks shockingly good right now. 5-2, 3-1 in the SEC. If you just came down and looked at them, and then you saw Graham Mertz's stats, you would think, oh my God, this is actually kind of a good Florida team. I know you kind of still think that, or I don't want to put words in your mouth. I think you still think that, Aaron. I do not. I do not think this Florida team's any good. I think you've heard of the gator death spiral, like when an alligator gets you in its jaws and it starts to spin to wear you out and kill you. Have you heard about the gator death march? Because that's what the end of the season's going to be, as they play Georgia, Arkansas, which whatever, but then at LSU, at Mizzou, at home versus FSU. So you're talking about 4 or 5 games against top 15 teams in the entire country. It is about to go really poorly for Florida. I think this is where it starts. I think Florida's a bit of a paper gator, if you will. And the thing that I am most interested in, kind of like the Auburn game, is once again, I'm interested in Georgia. How does Carson Beck look? Sans Brock Bowers, does he actually do what you and Colin Wilson and Josh Pate and all you smart football guys seem to think, that Georgia's actually going to get better and more explosive in some ways? Does that actually happen?
Once again, I did not say better, explosive, more explosive. If you think more explosive is better than okay in your mind, then yes, Georgia's offense could be more explosive. I'll disagree with you there. Like, I think Florida is a good football team. They're not a great football team. It's a good football team.
Are they a good football team if they finish like
7-5?
Because that's the question. Because I don't think that is good. I don't think, especially by Florida standards, that's not good. Florida good at the bare minimum, and with the year 2 leash 8-4 has to be. I mean, come on, bro. Come on. It's Florida.
The schedule has gotten significantly harder for the entire SEC over the past 2 weeks. Like, we've seen teams all of a sudden emerge, and you're like, okay, I didn't realize the SEC, it's not as dominant as it's been, but it's better than maybe what I thought it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, like, I do take that into account. Like, if you do lose to Georgia, LSU, Missouri, and Florida State, obviously Florida State being AC, like, those are games you should lose. Doesn't make you a bad team. 3 of those teams could be all in contention to win their conference, and 2 of them to be in the college football playoff. So, like, am I going to call you a bad team because you lost to those teams? No, I'm not going to call you a bad team. Those teams
I'm going to call you a bad team because you got your ass kicked by Kentucky.
They had one bad game.
Kentucky's not any good.
They had one bad game. You got your
ass kicked by Utah. Now, Utah is good, so there's no great shame in that. Yeah. But still, it's Utah without Cam Rising. No, look, man, I don't, you know what? No, fuck that. I don't even think it comes to, it doesn't need that much context. No, 7-5 is not team. Florida. 7-5 is not good. 8-4, sure. Okay. Then I can maybe call them a good team.
I think they're a good team too. I think they have good pieces. I like the running backs. The keys for the game, if there's going to be some miraculous win and upset for the Florida Gators, you have to run the football. You have 2 talented backs, and those guys have been inconsistent as hell this entire season. It ain't on them. It's on the offensive line. Can you push around this Georgia defensive line that has not been the Georgia defense line that's been for the past 2 years? Like, if they can get Johnson and Etienne going a little bit, don't put Graham Mertz in situations where he has to take a 3-5 step drop with a couple hitches and from gun. He's great at getting the ball out on time and accurately. Purcell's great. The guy that I'm going to have my eye on is Eugene Wilson. He's a freshman. He's an absolute stud. He's now played half a season. You're going to see his production hopefully go up if you're a Florida Gator fan. Can you get him the ball in space on nice quick hitters and convert first downs? The secondary for Georgia is too good if you think you're going to win 3rd and long situations. They're just too good. So, like, the run game for Florida has to get going early. And on the other side of the football, like, I'm interested to see, we talk about Georgia's offense being more explosive. The weakness for Florida is their secondary. They're young. They got a true freshman playing at the safety position right now. They got a couple other young guys playing throughout that back end. Can they match up with now the experience of what Carson Beck has been able to prove to us this year so far? And I still believe a pretty darn good receiving core. So, like, can you match up with those guys? Can you limit the explosives? Because I know Bobo. I said it yesterday. Bobo's DNA: run the football, play action, take shots. Without Brock Bowers, that's gonna be his bread and butter. Can you prevent the big time plays defensively with those young guys in a big time moment in a rivalry game on a neutral site?
The problem is Florida they're not going to be able to score. Now I'm very intrigued to see
Vanderbilt scored on Georgia.
Oh, okay,
I'm
yeah,
just gonna throw it out
yeah.
there.
No,
Like,
okay,
I'm
fair.
just saying.
I guess what I'm saying is though, like again, it's that weird thing where like you're talking about, ooh, Florida has, two good running backs and they got to run the ball. They're 10th in the SEC in rushing. Graham Mertz has pretty good
I know.
stats. They're 10th in the or 9th in the SEC in points per game at
Mhm.
like 29. So like we're kind of grasping at straws. Where you're not grasping at straws is defensively. They're pretty legit. They only give up 20 a
Yeah.
game. They're fifth in the conference. They're the third best pass defense in the conference. So if I'm a Georgia fan, I kind of like this matchup because you should win. Like, it's not like you're at a great threat of losing. You're nearly 15-point favorites. But where are you kind of insecure right now? What your passing game looks like post Brock Bowers. Well, if you come out and you do very well against a pretty salty Gator pass defense, then I
Who's
feel like
who have the Gators played defensively, or what offense have the Gators played that has a passing offense?
yeah, I
Utah
guess that's
doesn't.
kind of true. That's
McNeese
true. It could
doesn't.
be,
Tennessee does not have a passing offense this year. It's all
yeah.
running. We've seen enough. Charlotte, no. Kentucky, no. Vanderbilt, no. The only team that it can throw the ball for a damn that they've actually played this year
With
is
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina. And Spencer Rattler threw for 313 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, so you're right. That's all a bit of a paper tiger situation, or again,
Yes.
a false rating situation. Anyway, okay, so never mind. You're right. Florida sucks. And you can't learn anything in this game, Georgia.
Just don't lose.
It's a good
Just
call
don't
there.
lose.
You're not
Don't
gonna
lose.
lose. Okay, who's gonna step up most? Rah Thomas. Who we thinking? Or excuse, like Rah Love it. Who we thinking?
Um, I think both of them have shown. I want to see Ladd. Like, this is, to me, Ladd has been limited, obviously, with the injury still the past few games. He came in key situations versus Auburn. He should be fully healthy. Like, this is Ladd's moment to shine. Like, I was the returning guy along with Brock. We were the 1-2 punch. I've been out. Now Brock is out. Now it's my time to take over that number one receiver for Carson. He should be the receiver that Carson has the most chemistry with too. So it's time for him to play like the all SEC receiver Georgia fans were hoping he would be heading into the season before the injury.
Cameron Scholl, who says he's a doctor, says you need a small round of Acilivir for your shingles, help prevent post-herpetic neuralgia. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I feel like that means that my brain something may go wrong with my brain. So let me know if I'm right or wrong there, Cameron. I'm going to tell the doctor that and try to sound very smart. All right. That's Georgia, Florida, world's largest outdoor cocktail party. I think Georgia rolls. I think this is the beginning of the end for Florida. Like I said, and again, let's just see who steps up. Why are you giving me that look? Why is it not?
I think I took it the wrong way at the beginning of the end for like this season, but I do think
No,
they're
not for
moving in. I
Napier.
think
No.
overall Napier's he's got them in the right track.
I'm not going to go that far. I don't think he's going to get fired, but I'm not going to go that far. I don't know why you're so impressed with
the recruiting. Well,
they are recruiting well. The
recruiting.
Gator Collective seems to at least be doing very well gathering money for recruiting.
Yeah.
All right, let's head over to the Big 12 then. You got Oklahoma and Kansas in what is OU's third longest continuous series. How about this? They've played Texas 119 times. Oklahoma State 117. They've played Kansas 113 games. 113 games in a row. The problem is this is one of the most one-sided series in history. I want to say Oklahoma's won nearly 80% of these things, but what's even crazier, Aaron, or I guess it only feels crazy now because Kansas is finally kind of good. Oklahoma's won this game 18 times in a row.
Yeah.
Kansas has not won this game since 1997. And look, you had no U team last week that was pushed to the absolute brink by UCF. I just don't know that I can get there with this Kansas team, even though I like Bean, but without Jalen Daniels, they're just whatever. I think like Oklahoma survived one of their scares last week. I'd be shocked if they had scares like that in back-to-back weeks.
And I know there's a lot of excitement about Oklahoma State all of a sudden now too. And I was on the plane ride this morning and went back and watched that game between Kansas and Oklahoma State last week. And Oklahoma State's DBs are horrendous. I mean, horrendous. Tight end, 2 times tight ends were wide open on a RPO play action, whatever you want to classify it as, where the safeties are in the box and a tight end's running 10 yards behind the nearest defender. And it's a walk into the end zone. And another time on a post route where the DB, essentially, it was one of the most piss-poor tackling performances I've ever seen in my life. He looked like it was 7-on-7, and he touched the guy and just stopped. Like he thought the guy was just going to stop running, and he runs in for a touchdown. It's just like, what are we doing on that side of the football? Kansas was able to make it a football game, down 14-0. They got close, and it was a bunch of just big plays. Oklahoma is not going to give up those big plays through the passing game. They are a better defense this year. They've shown us that all year. The one area that I want to see this weekend, if I'm a Sooner fan, Kansas is one of the worst rush defenses in the conference. Oklahoma has struggled to get an identity running the football. It's been really Dylan Gabriel. Like in big games, like go back to Texas, like Dylan Gabriel is winning it throwing the football, and he's winning it running the football. Can the offensive line be better? Can the running backs be better? This is your opportunity to do that, because it's still hard for me to say a rematch versus Texas or maybe somewhere down the line, if you are that one-dimensional, if that ain't cooking and you can't run it besides your quarterback, I just feel like it's gonna trip you up at some way along the rest of the season. So like, could this be the momentum they need if they can get the run game going versus Kansas? So that to me, that's what I'm watching. But like, Kansas has no shot. Oklahoma's gonna roll in this one.
Wait. You think no shot? I mean, that's
no
a
shot.
little strong, because I'm kind of thinking about Kansas plus 10 here. I mean, it's in
I don't
Kansas.
think their defense is going to slow. I don't think Kansas' defense is going to be able to slow them down, the pass game. And I think the big plays aren't going to be there for Kansas's offense. And without Jalen, you lose an incredible. The dynamic of running is just not there with being the same way.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's just interesting, because if you do want to play, which is a flawed game, but if you want to play the law of transitive sports properties, Kansas did beat the fuck out of UCF. Now, maybe John Rice Plumlee was out that game, and so maybe that's the difference there, but Kansas beat UCF 51-22. One thing to watch here, you mentioned all the big plays.
John Rice Plumlee was 3 of 7 for 33, so I think that was the game he got hurt.
Okay. And that would make sense, kind of maybe like cutting, kind of whenever that happens during a game, it's very hard to recover from. I want to say that one thing that you should watch out for this week, if you're an Oklahoma fan, is that defense has been excellent about not giving up big plays this year. That changed against UCF last weekend. There's maybe the slightest bit of defensive regression rearing its head. Well, this game will tell us more whether or not it continues. So I think Oklahoma wins. I'm not sure what I would play on this yet. I don't think it's so cut and dry, though, given the fact that it is in Kansas, and I still think that Lance Leipold is really good at getting his team ready to roll. And like, at a certain point, Kansas has to win this game. You know, I mean, I guess it can keep going. Yeah. At a certain point, you do.
You can keep losing. No,
what's the longest we've ever seen? Was it like the 30 with Kentucky and Florida? Because pretty much everybody else eventually sneaks one in here or there. Yeah. Who's better, UCF or Kansas, says Charlie Shepard? I mean, Kansas is better than UCF, clearly.
Yeah, they won.
Clearly. But I don't think that, but I think Oklahoma is better than what they looked like last week.
Yes, I agree.
All right, let's go to the Pac-12. Oregon at Utah. I mean, Aaron, if Kyle Whittingham wins this one, I don't know.
We have to stop doubting him.
Just if Kyle Whittingham, he should be coach of the year. Because this is a Utah team that hasn't had consistent or good quarterback play all year long. They've had anywhere from 16 to 22 players in their two deep injured. They've had to deal with the mental friction of the constant, will the quarterback be back? Won't he be back? At least that's now off the table now. As at least that's now off the table, as we know that Cam Rising's not going to return until next year. But like, this has been a very rough year for Utah thus far, and yet here they sit, and they're exactly where they want to be. They have the win over USC. They control their own destiny, and Oregon is now coming to town.
Yeah, and listen, the home field advantage in Utah's a hell of a place to go to from what I've heard, and we've seen teams obviously go there and trip up. Oregon is battle tested on the road, so I don't know how much you want to play into that. I think going to Washington may be even a little bit harder, compared to going to Utah. But listen, Utah offensively, like you talk about having games like we just talked about with Oklahoma and Kansas, and getting that confidence boost of running the football. And like, that's what I want to watch from that game. Utah, like if you want to get some confidence boost offensively, you play USC, because you're going to score points and your quarterback's going to have a career day. Like, plain simple. Like, so does Bryson Barnes, who was tremendous throwing the football, 3 touchdowns, 235 yards. He was great running the football as well. Like, does he take that and come back home and use that momentum to have another good game this weekend. Like, I don't see it happening. I think Oregon's a
Not
great
against
defense.
this defense.
Yeah, not against it. Like, that's the difference. But is he just slightly better than what he was to start the season?
Again, let's really highlight how bad what USC allowed Bryson Barnes to do last week was. If we look at the Bryson Barnes game log, game 1 against Florida, he's 12-18 for 159 and a touchdown. Remember, 75 of that came on the very first play of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So he eventually throws for 75 yards the rest of the game. Week 2 against Baylor, he gets benched after going 6 of 19 for 71 yards with a pick. Doesn't play against Weber or UCLA. Goes 8 of 5 for 40 yards and a pick against Oregon State. 15 of 21 for 128. No touchdowns, no picks against Cal. And then all of a sudden, 14 of 23, 235, 10 yards per attempt, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, USC's awful. Oregon's defense is not. Bryson Barnes is not going to have success this
No,
week.
he's not. But listen, I do like what they did offensively, though. Like, obviously, he had a good game. He ran the ball well. They implemented a lot of the Wildcat. They actually brought a defensive back, Vaki, number 28, and he was actually really good. He played running back. He had some nice catches out of the backfield. He also did, like I said, the Wildcat formations. Like, that's something that Oregon's going to have to prepare a little bit more for this week. So let's see if that slips them up at all. But Oregon is built like Washington. Like, why has Washington had success in that conference? Is because they have been willing to play old school defensive, run the football, beat, punch you in the mouth kind of ball. And those teams don't really play that. Well, now all of a sudden you got Dan Lanning as your head coach at Oregon, and that is who your identity is. That is what your identity is. You want to be the bully. You want to play defense. You want to run the football. So, like, you're going against a team that matches your style, that's capable of playing your style, and they're more athletic than you, and they have a far superior quarterback than you. Like, that is where it kind of comes to an end for me for Utah. Like, Bo Nix is playing great this season, like, really, really good. He's taking care of the football. They only have 1 turnover as a team heading into this game. I mean, we're 7 games into the season. We're 7 games into the season.
On the entire year, they have 1 turnover.
It's 1 interception. Haven't fumbled
Not
the
even any fumbles or anything?
Bucky Irvin has been killing it. Jordan James has been killing it. Utah only has 4. Both these teams have done a great job protecting the football this season.
Well, obviously, a Kyle Whittingham team is not going to shoot itself in the foot. Like, you may out-talent them, like you're probably going to see this weekend, but it's not going to be like it's because Utah was poorly coached. I mean, look, this one's not hard to figure out. The defenses are basically equivocal, and the difference between Bo Nix and Bryson Barnes is an ocean worth of difference. It's fucking massive. Even being on the road, Oregon goes, and I think Oregon wins. But again, if they don't, then let's just give Kyle Whittingham Coach of the Year right now, because I don't know who else would be deserving.
Hey, in the chat, you'll like this, T. This is from Andy J. Is Dan Lanning an upgrade over Mario Cristobal?
I mean, what the fuck is a bear shit in the woods?
I figured I'd toss you that softball.
Well, I mean, what do we think here? Christopher has done exactly what we always said. Like, out of all the coaches I tried to call out this offseason, Venables, Sarkisian, Christopher, he's the only one that at least helped me out by continuing to look fraudulent. So yes,
Jimbo.
Dan Lanning. Well, but everybody was calling out Jimbo. Yeah. You know, I was kind of on an island in some of the other cases, or more.
Hey, Mario just beat Clemson with a backup quarterback. Just gonna throw it out there.
That's true. That's true. And you know what? I shouldn't make this about Cristobal, because he really might end up having success in Miami. And honestly, they should only have 1 loss. Does it go back to him? Yes, but whatever. It's still a fluke thing. So like, maybe Mario will still have a lot of success at Miami. The point is, though, that I think Dan Lanning's great. Like Dan Lanning. Now, how's he going to do replacing Bo Nix, right? That's the question that all these college coaches have to answer. Can you do the Nick Saban thing where you continue to replace quarterbacks and continue to win? That's the key. But I love Dan Lanning's attitude. I love what he's done, like you said, for the identity and the defense of Oregon. Let's say you were maybe like traveling to Utah randomly. You wanted to go to that game, or like I got in the chat earlier, you've never been to Georgia, Florida, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, but you've always wanted to go. Well, you should check out our friends at Game Time, okay? Because the best way to get tickets to any of these games on Game Time, it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States. For last minute amazing deals and tickets to your favorite college or pro teams, or look, concerts, baseball games, if you want to go to the World Series, comedy shows, all of this, you just download Game Time. And when you download the Game Time app right now, you redeem code SNAPS, SNAPS, for $20 off your first purchase. That's SNAPS. Terms apply. Again, download the Game Time app, enter code SNAPS, get 20 bucks off. And no matter where you live, let's get out and have some fun this week. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Can y'all explain the random 2-point conversions with Oregon? Is it foolish or do you like the aggression? I like the aggression. It's like I said, coming out of Oregon, Washington, it was a bit paradoxical in that I understand that the over aggression was what cost him the game. But if I don't look at the results and I look at the context in which the calls were made, I think they were winning calls. I just think they got a bit unlucky and they didn't convert when they should have.
So I will say this, the 2-point conversions just in general for teams, because of the new overtime rules, teams go into games with more 2-point menu items on the play call sheet.
True.
So if you do head into a game, you're like, I really like our 2-point plays this week. We have 4 or 5 of them because of, just because we practice them for, in case we're ever in a triple overtime game. If you like 2, 3 of them that week and you want to run them, like that's the time to do it. So how many 2-point conversions would you install during a week of practice back at LSU? 1 or 2?
I mean,
this
none.
was the
none.
Yeah, you guys just run power, power. We're just gonna run power.
Yeah, just run power toss.
We would have maybe 2 or 3, maybe
probably same.
Very limited. It's like you're saving them for when you need them. Now it's a lot more, and with all the analytics of when to go for it on 4th down, that whole 3rd, 4th to 1 to 3 range, your play call sheet is analytics have changed the game.
Well, and you get these things that basically about a right over 50% clip.
Yep.
And so it's aggressive in terms of, okay, I'm going to take the initiative and I'm going to put my opponent on the back heel. And if you miss, does it hurt? Yeah, but you're confident enough that, okay, I'll just get the next one and won't matter. So I don't hate it. I like Lanning's new age aggressiveness, although I'll be interested to see over time if he has to kind of dial it back, given that it has cost him already directly this year. Next on the list, Duke Louisville. What's the status on Riley Leonard here?
That's the question. He was taken out of last week's game for Florida State, kind of rolled the ankle again. That was the big discussion when I was watching the game on the broadcast, that they did a good job of covering it, of do you put him in a situation where, would it be awesome if you beat Florida State? Hell yeah. And they were right in that game in the first half. But if something happened and you lost him for multiple games afterwards, how do you balance that for Elko of putting him in a situation to maybe hinder him from playing for, 1, 2, 3 weeks down the road? So I don't know. We'll see. Obviously that is the strength of his game. If he's not 100%, you're talking about a Louisville defense. Go back to 2 weeks ago versus Notre Dame, held Notre Dame to 44 yards rushing, 44 yards rushing. So that is what they can do on that side of the football. Your best athlete, your quarterback, is an athlete. He is a runner. If he's not 100%, I just don't know what we're going to get. So I still trust Duke, though. I trust Duke's defense. At the end of the day, I trust Duke's defense to maybe get 1 or 2 turnovers, keep this thing close. If Riley's 80% and good enough to make some plays, I think Duke still wins this football game.
If Leonard plays, I would give a slight advantage to Duke. If he doesn't, I think Louisville clearly wins.
Yes.
I like a lot of the outside of just pure football metrics working here in Louisville's favor, in that Duke is coming off of a 4-quarter battle against Florida State in which they're highly disappointed because they were up 3. It's the 4th quarter. They have a chance to go up 10. Leonard gets hurt, and then everything just completely spirals from there. And the final score is not indicative of how tough that game actually was. Louisville, last time out, we see them lose to Pitt. Highly disappointing, right? They finally cracked the top 15, but they got a bye week. They got a bye week to flush it, to review, to get fresh, to study Duke, to prepare. And now they come in fully rested, hungry at home for revenge I like Louisville to win it unless Riley Leonard plays. We will see. All right, last one on our game preview for today. What do I do with my notes here? Too much
Colorado,
game time.
UCLA.
Colorado, UCLA. Feels like a minute since we talked about the old Buffs there, Aaron.
Last time we talked about them, they gave up 29 points and lost the football game to Stanford.
Yeah, I mean, just an insane game still to think back on. UCLA, another classic Chip Kelly team, Aaron, just doing it with pure defense, pure hard-nosed defense, the thing that has defined Chip Kelly his entire career.
Well, they finally made the quarterback change. Like, you get this highly recruited quarterback in Dante Moore, and you look at the losses they had this season, and I hate to blame one kid or another, but the reason why I chose him to lose some of those games, especially that Utah game, was I just didn't think he was ready. Watching him early in the season, I was like, I just don't know if he's ready for this league this year, because it's a really good Pac-12 team, and there are some decent defenses in this league, from Utah to now UCLA themselves, but there are some good teams there, and I just didn't know if he was ready for the moment just yet. Well, they benched him, and Ethan Garbers comes in there, and it's not like Stanford's a world beater or anything like that on defense, but I was impressed watching him. I thought he gets the ball out on time, in rhythm, quick release. He's athletic, can run the ball well. Just seems like right now he's the better fit for this football team. The way he plays on offense, what they try to accomplish on offense, trying to run the football, and then how they complement that with the style in which they play defense, he's the better guy this season. So I think having him gives me a lot more confidence in UCLA going forward.
I think UCLA wins this game. I think that as good as the Colorado offense is, the UCLA defense is kind of as good as any in the country statistically this year. And we're talking, if you just want to go with traditional metrics like points per game, they're on top of they're on top of the Pac-12. If you want to go to things like stop rate, they're top 5 in the entire country. Like, this is a great defense. And as you said, and also offensively, what does UCLA want to do this year? They want to run the ball. Colorado's defense is awful. Colorado's defense is at the bottom of everything. So I actually think that UCLA at home is better suited to stopping Shedeur Sanders and this very good Colorado attack than vice versa over time. So yeah, give me UCLA in this one.
And just going to UCLA's team too, like, you go back to those losses, Utah, pick six. Yeah. Oregon State, he had 3 interceptions. Like, this is a moment where you kind of feel like, man, if you put the more veteran guy in there, what would this record be for this UCLA football team that is pretty damn solid on both sides? So yeah, listen, Colorado coming off the bye, Travis Hunter's healthy. I'm excited to see what this team looks like after kind of 2 weeks to think about what happened for Stanford. Like, that's a crappy thing too. Like, anytime you lose a game, especially that kind of game, you don't want to buy it. Like, you just want to go prepare for a game.
You need something to get that taste out of your mouth.
They've had 2 weeks to kind of sit back and think about that Stanford game. Like, did they use it as motivation, or was that like the kind of I want to say like nail in the coffin, but like they were fighting for a bowl game.
I don't hate it though. I don't hate it. I mean, I don't think that it becomes something where you just. I think it's kind of like how I feel about Louisville. I think you do want to get back out there, certainly, and the immediacy another game is great, but I don't think it's a net negative that you don't have another game immediately. I think that can make you almost more hungry and more locked in over time as you get fresh. We'll see though. We got 2 situations, right? We got Colorado and we got Louisville, both kind of similar in what they're going to try to avenge. All right, real quick before we wrap up the show, let's hear from our friends over there at DraftKings. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. Right now, new customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, like, it doesn't matter. You start the season with an instant dub. And always remember, the DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot at even bigger basketball wins. So string together multiple bets in the same game or build a parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Bottom line is, basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code T-Bob, T-B-O-B. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code T-Bob, T-B-O-B. The crown is yours. Andy J. Enos to A&M makes a lot of sense. Oh, jeez. I don't think anything makes sense to A&M. Enos to A&M after Jimbo gets axed. I don't know. Elko to A&M after Jimbo gets axed.
I think you meant Elko. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Elko.
All right, look, y'all. That's our preview show. I apologize, guys. Just a real shit showing for me today. Great job by Aaron, though. Great job by Pat Gunther, Chris Tran, Adam Gracia, Danny Cardenas, all the production team. Aaron, good luck on the UTEP call tonight.
Thank you.
Please, as always, guys, if you can hit the like button, subscribe. The road to 7K continue. Share with your friends if you got friends who are into college football. And okay, they both meant Elko. Okay, that makes sense. Greg, relax. I'm trying, dude. But please like, subscribe, rate, review the pod on Apple, Spotify, wherever. And Aaron, no preview for Aaron's game. Aaron, who wins? You can say that, can't you? Or are you not allowed to say that?
No, I can't say that.
Oh, you can't say that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, when we get back, we'll have our gambling show tomorrow with Colin Wilson. And guys, if you haven't listened to Colin, you want to listen to Colin. The plays are incredible. Okay. He's winning time and time again. So be on the lookout for that. And then we'll see you on Saturday for some more snaps.